I wasn't supposed to be a storyteller. I was just a dog named Scout, alone on a boat. I wasn't supposed to be a hero. I was supposed to be a good boy. For years it was just me and Thomas on his old fishing boat. Every morning we walked the shores. Every evening we watched the sunset. Thomas called me his shadow. I called him my whole world. I was always one step behind, always watching. One morning we set out to sea for a special trip. Calm waters, warm sun. Thomas said it was the anniversary of someone he missed very much. I didn't understand, but I stayed close. We were out at sea only a few days when the sea began to bellow and the sky turned gray. The wind whistled. Thomas was fixing a sail when he fell. He just laid there, still motionless. I could barely hear him breathing. I barked, then nudged him best I could. I brought him water in my bowl. He was weak but opened his eyes one last time and said, "Good boy, Scout." Then he was gone. And as the storm rolled in, I covered him with his favorite blanket 'cause I knew he'd get cold, and I took my post at the bow and tried to be a good boy, be brave, and weather the storm. The waves thrashed the boat that night, back and forth. The wind howled and the sea spit, but I still made it to the next day. I was soaked and now alone. Suddenly I heard another engine and voices as a large boat drove by. I barked as loud as I could. People in uniforms came aboard and promised they'd take care of him. I stayed with Thomas until I saw them wrap him gently in cloth. As they carried him away, one of them looked at me and said, "Good boy." I wanted to believe it. They took me to a small town. I stayed at the shelter. People were kind, loving. I was thankful, but I felt broken without Thomas. They scattered his ashes at sea, and from that day on, the harbor was known as Thomas's Point. But I still returned each morning to the edge of the dock, where the wind smelled like salt and wet sand, and the sea seemed to whisper his name. That's where I kept my watch, until once again, my life changed. It moved like a storm of sparks, leaping from rooftop to rooftop, swallowing homes and lighting the sky with fear. Even the dog shelter got eaten. At first I ran from the flames, but then I heard faint sound of barking. So I turned back, and I found 3 puppies, all 3 still breathing, but trapped beneath a large fallen branch. So I dug until my paws bled. A woman named Betty found us and cried when she saw what I'd done. She stood beside me and whispered, "Good boy." She had lost her dog in the fire, so she brought us all to her home. She adopted me and one of the 3 puppies, where we became a family. I still kept watch at the dock, though my legs were slower, my naps longer. I never stopped watching. Betty, kind and steady, never treated me like I was broken. She understood loss. She talked to me like Thomas used to. She told me I was brave. She told me I was a good boy. Even when I just followed her to the mailbox. The little puppy who stayed with us chased birds and barked at waves just like I once did. Over time, I got old. My fur turned gray and I couldn't walk well, and I began to know my age. One quiet morning, I closed my eyes for the last time. Betty decided to scatter my ashes where waves always called me. Now, there are 2 plaques at Thomas's Point. He waited, he loved, he saved. And every time the waves roll in, I hope they know. I always try to be a good boy.